You're watching Access Minnesota. Here's Jim Dubois.
Minnesota Army National Guard members are often described as citizen soldiers. Lieutenant Colonel Eddie Frizzell says the diversity of the Guard soldiers' civilian occupations is beneficial to the mission.
Well, the Guard is similar to the active Army, is a snapshot of society. So we represent the people that we serve, because that's who's coming into the organization to join. Well, we do have to also make a living outside of this. And so we have everything from master electricians, plumbers, police officers, postal carriers, managers, IT specialists. They're all here. But yet we call ourselves 19 Deltas or Cav Scouts. So that is our commonality. But at the same time, we're able to draw upon all those skills at any given time. Right now, we're quite an expeditionary type of force. Because of the drawdown, a lot of the resources that were available to those serving in Iraq earlier in the decade are no longer there. So they have to depend on those skills sometimes to have a fire or to have something lined up that typically would have took a work order and someone to come over and fix for them. Well, it's not there now. So we know who to go to just through interaction on who's got the skills to handle this at our level and within our capabilities. So that just makes me extremely proud of that diversity to be able to apply it in this situation for the benefit of all of us. And as we remind the soldiers daily, is that if we all work together and we all bring our absolute 100% to the table, we're going to be successful. And when you see all that come together, it's an unbelievable feeling.
The Red Bulls' mission in Iraq is over, but the soldiers will remain in Kuwait until spring. Red Bulls Commander Colonel Eric Kurska says the Minnesota Guard has created a program to prepare soldiers for the return home.
Well, Minnesota started the Beyond the Yellow Ribbon program when we were deployed last time to try to prepare to give us something better than in previous wars to help us integrate back into society. And that thing, we've watched it grow over the last 3-4 years, 5 years. I feel very confident. You know, the Adjutant General's working with business leaders, with state government, all the different agencies to kind of give us a one-stop shop. That's what the Yellow Ribbon program does. Is the resources are out there, but knowing how to get a hold of them and knowing which one to go after has been difficult. So now it's more integrated, you know, by the state. And so we have a large number of soldiers that are anticipated to be unemployed when we get back. And that's, you know, we see that as tragic, and we're trying to do something about that. And the state is working to receive us with that as one of the major focus items, is how do we get, you know, 27% of the brigade into the workforce with the economy being not so good right now.
You never react to the first report of contact, because 99.9% of the time it's wrong. Be patient. Make sure that you understand your audience that you're working with, and that be it a soldier or one of the third country nationals or even a general. Know your audience. So those are universal themes that you can apply to business, you can apply anywhere. And then you take the emotional stability and compassionate response and reactions to what could very well be a volatile situation, sometimes diffuses it, and it gives you that ability to remain calm under those trying conditions. And to take it one step further, one of the more significant emotional events that I ever had in my life was I was one of the first responders to the 35W bridge collapse, 6 minutes after that went down. And to watch all the firefighters and community and just people off the street assisting with taking children off of a school bus on the bridge that's getting ready to go down, or getting down on the riverbanks and pulling people out of the water, and then just look around you and seeing that, hey, this was a community. It was firefighters and cops and, again, joggers that had stopped to just help. You're seeing that same thing over here. And the only difference in my mind is the uniform. So life is made up of all those shared experiences. And when you put them all together, you'll have a successful team that'll benefit everyone.
Well, things that we've learned is the best way to reintegrate is to stay in touch with your buddies that you were here with. You know, don't go back and not stay in touch with those people, because they're the only ones that can really understand the challenges that you're facing. The support is great, but they're never really going to understand what it's like to try to start your life over again. So we're encouraging everybody, and that's the purpose of going back. You know, 30 days after we get home, we get back together, 60 days, 90 days. We don't want people to leave the support system that they've learned here. You know, we've got a second family here, really, that started. You know, this is our family for 12 months, and you just can't cut that cord and leave that. You know, you need to keep in touch with each other, because we're our best support system, and the folks back home will help with that, but really we got to kind of do this as a team.
I would say the biggest differences are in the way that the Army conducts business. We're very much more focused on counterinsurgency and doing the right thing and making sure that we don't make any more new enemies with the Iraqi people.
Well, the first one was the Gulf War. That was just conventional warfare with tanks and Bradleys. What's interesting to me is where we went in the Gulf War is the same piece of ground we're operating now as we bring these last convoys out of Iraq. So when we bring them back into Kuwait, that's the same areas I was in 20 years ago. And so every time I go down that road, you see the old Iraqi tanks that are still laying out there. That's kind of takes me back a ways. So for me, it's kind of a full circle, you know, starting the Gulf War, and then we're going to end this thing on the same spot, the same piece of geographic ground that it started with for me 21 years ago. So I'm looking forward to tying a bow on this thing.
It's an unusual mission, I guess. The tempo has been fast and slow, feast and famine. So I guess it's just finding a battle rhythm for the soldiers and for us as leaders. It's exciting, especially being a National Guard contingent, to be involved in two historical deployments like that. Take a great deal of pride in that, and I know the soldiers do.
Going in, we've been preparing for this mission for well over 2 years, so situation normal for change. That's what makes us a flexible arm of the United States military, as we take orders as we get them and move forward. So we did go in knowing that 31 December was the cutoff date, or possible cutoff date as it was termed at the time. So we always planned within those parameters for that to happen. There was talk of a surge and actual missions being conducted on an average basis, and we didn't know any different. So we actually walked into a surge, but that high op tempo, which was roughly 4 times that of our predecessors, was normal, situation normal.
I knew we'd have to accomplish a lot. I knew we didn't have a lot of time to do it with the plan that was given to us, but I didn't expect it to go really as well as it did. I mean, the brigade has really done an awesome job. We've had very few problems, and the training paid off. Everybody's doing great.
It's just what we train for. We always train a lot harder than what we anticipate seeing. We came into a situation where the pace was accelerated, and that's basically what we were ready for. You know, was that the floodgates to open, so to speak.
So a combination of our preparation, our training, our battle drills, situational awareness of our soldiers out there, and the equipment that's afforded to us, i.e. the Caymans, the PAS-13 optics, all those things that we use in combination with our battle drills have made us successful thus far.
Our training was on track. We had to get some additional equipment to be able to do the accelerated time frame, but the equipment was here, the expertise above us to get that stuff issued. So I've got a great logistics section with the brigade, and they pulled off another miracle. We got the extra vehicles and equipment, and we had plenty of soldiers, so that wasn't the issue. They were well trained, ready to go. So it didn't have there was some stress, some strain, but we made it look fairly easy.
Whenever we send a group of guys and girls out on a mission now, we kind of focus in on that, because these are truly the last missions that are going to come out of Iraq, and it's really exciting, and it's pretty amazing to think about that we're a part of that.
I really don't think it's sank in yet. We do remind the soldiers that the conduct of this mission will someday end up in a history book, like a lot of the sacrifices and great work of the greatest generation of World War II, or our soldiers in Vietnam that put it all on the line. That's not lost on any military endeavor being a part of history eventually. But for right now, we just try to take it one day at a time and just do it right. So in the infamous words of Winston Churchill, he said to the effect that history will smile favorably on us because we intend to write it.
That's all for this month's edition of Access Minnesota. Thanks for watching. See you next month.
Access Minnesota. Issues that matter to you. Join us again next week as we bring you the newsmakers and stories that shape our everyday lives. Access Minnesota is produced by the Minnesota Broadcasters Association in cooperation with the University of Minnesota's College of Liberal Arts.